The year is 2503. Emperor Leopold passed away the year previous in his sleep from natural causes, and the months-long battle for the throne was won a year ago by the young son of Leopold, the Prince of Altdorf, Karl Franz. At the age of 33, many consider him too young to rule, especially as he has never raised blade in battle, and though he won the throne through the Elector Count's collected votes, it took him some time to gain his solid victory, and he is not yet the uniting figurehead of the empire they much need. In one of his first major acts, he has marched his way north at the head of a massive imperial army to Nordland to reinforce the armies of Elector Count Theodoric Gelser, which have been subject to growing Norscan assaults. In the east of the empire, an Orc warlord named Nashrak has united many of the Orc and Goblin tribes of the World's Edge Mountains, though their numbers reportedly do not match those of the Black Orc Morglum Nexnapper, who recently defeated several Bretonnian armies in the west. Their numbers are growing. Though many of the tribes seem occupied in the mountains, huge numbers of goblins have been making their way to outlying Ostermark towns and villages, several of which have already been razed to the ground by marauding warbands. Many soldiers of the imperial armies and mercenary bands across the empire mutter the name Wolfram Hertwig, Elector Count of Ostermark, and it is not said favourably. It is rumoured that the stubborn youth has refused aid from all other provinces, and even rejected the assistance of several powerful knightly orders who travelled east to aid him and their beleaguered province. Ostland and Talabecland citizens look to their neighbours sadly, and their armies are on the alert, while the insular Sturlanders are unsurprised at their neighbours' foolishness. The brash, prideful young count has ignored the plight of his people, and as such, Ostermark is slowly crumbling. Most recently, the large towns of Blutford and Nackdorf were decimated by raiding goblin tribes in the forests, cutting off the escape north and forcing many to flee to the river, hoping to make their way to safety. Boatmen across the empire say that large numbers are trying to make their journey all the way to Reichland, where the imperial capital is, but such a journey is perilous to say the least, and takes many weeks. The twin moons have been erratic of late, and upon the coronation of Karl Franz, the dark moon Morsley was barely visible in the night sky for several months. Many across the empire took this to be a sign of great portent. However, in recent weeks the green glow has been growing, and its eerie presence in the sky has caused some concern among the citizens of the empire. The creatures of the forest grow restless, and rumours of cults, corruption and heresy within the cities are more frequent. This is usual when the dark moon waxes high, but doomsayers will always claim that this time it's worse. However, there is some light in the darkness for the citizens of the empire. Recent events mean there has been no shortage of work in most provinces for those who wish to earn a coin, protecting caravans, escorting refugees from Ostermark, or finding out information on ne'er-do-wells for the overworked authorities. Also, citizens everywhere thank Tal for the bumper harvest that this year has brought. Whatever the reason, the crops are healthy and livestock births have been higher than anyone can remember. Farmers across the empire rejoice, and many wagons of grain and meat travel the roads and rivers of the empire, feeding the thriving towns and cities. Ostermark is in peril, but refuses aid. The forest of the empire is stirring, and the newly crowned emperor, Prince Karl Franz, strives to unite the provinces once more, and prove himself as ruler by marching at the head of a great army to repel the Northmen. There have certainly been worse times in the empire, but there have also been better.
So, Paul, why are you with this lot?
I think, like I was saying before, I think basically I've followed card readings of my dreams. Maybe I've seen a couple of their faces in dreams, but I've not told them this, and I'm just kind of following that thread of I can be useful because, you know, I'm quite good at talking and kind of hanging around with them, doing the haggling stuff for them while they do the fighting.
Effectively, you're all going to Kemperbad to look for work.
Yeah.
So I think it's reasonable that you just have a bit of a feel. You've got the sixth sense skill, haven't you?
Not yet. No.
Oh, have you not got? I thought you started as a talent.
Oh no, I do. I do have the sixth sense.
So I think maybe you just get a bit of a feeling that this could be a good thing for you. And obviously, you're actually quite a low like your status-wise, you're actually the lowest character, you could be.
The lowest I can be.
Yeah, So hanging around with these three is probably going to be quite good for you in the long run because you are piss poor.
I am like brass one, so yeah.
Yeah. Okay. All right. So you're basically, Mark, you're looking for, it'd probably be because of your career, it'd probably be someone who's maybe stolen something from the army. I think thief takers are specifically looking for thieves, actually. Something like that. And then, Paul, if you're hanging around, that works. Okay. I can move on to Kemperbad. This is where the adventure begins, everyone. Okay, roll initiative. Okay, I'll stand up.
Yeah, yes.
Right, you see a dragon. Okay. I'm going to read out my description of Kemperbad. Here we go. I'm excited. You arrive in Kemperbad on a warm morning, and the large town is already heaving with the hustle and bustle of citizens. The first thing you notice is an overwhelming smell of fish. It stings your nostrils and pervades every inch of the town, everywhere you walk. You hear lots of shouts of praise Tal and praise Manan, and it's heard all around the townsfolk and traders. They offer praise to these gods in thanks for their fine bounty of crops, fish, and livestock. You notice dozens and dozens of ferries of various sizes unloading and loading goods, and numerous gangs of workers are already tirelessly lugging crates of all sizes back and forward. All around you there are people already going about their business despite it being barely later than dawn, and it looks like many market stalls and peddlers are already well into their daily wares. Overall, the town is very clearly surviving and successful. As you walk into the town, you notice small camps of tents outside. This is quite common for most towns in the Empire, but effectively they're shanty towns and canvases, makeshift abode where small groups of poorer peasants or people coming to town, the odd peddlers, go about their business. No one there looks in a particularly great way, unfortunately, and there's a town guard standing nearby who is eyeing them with distrust. The cawing of birds can be heard along the river, and your eye is drawn to an iron cage hanging from a thick rope. The cage hangs barely above the water, and the limbs of an unfortunate and very dead occupant of the cage dangle into the water below, where you can see large fish nibbling at the decaying flesh. A crude wooden sign hangs around the corpse's neck that reads "Thief." People jostle to get past you, and you're actually quite overwhelmed by the amount of people around you. You've probably never been in a town like Kemperbad before, and even if you have, it's not likely that it ever would have been this busy. This is an unprecedented time of trade for the Empire, and it's thriving better than anyone can remember.
Unprecedented Dresden.
Unprecedented Dresden. Most of the obvious merchants you can see by the riverside are very ostentatiously dressed, more so than you would ever expect from merchants that you've seen around the Empire, especially the ones operating the stalls. However, average citizens seem to be dressed in fairly common clothing, which is well made but plain. Most citizens you can see wear a hat of some kind. Most of them are simple affairs, some of them with fitted pins or feathers, but the ones the merchants are wearing are incredibly over the top and lavish. In contrast, most of the outfits worn by the people seem fairly functional, and very little clothing is anything other than browns and creams. Across the hustle and bustle, you can hear the shout of workers wanted from around the riverside, and several people standing on raised platforms, with crowds of people clambering to get to the one shouting. As you look around, you can see signs to different parts of the town, which say market, and in fact, for those who can read, you can see signs that say market, graveyard, and some other areas you may want to go to. Other than that, you have come into the town of Kemperbad. It's incredibly busy. What would you like to do?
I would like to find somewhere to stable my horse.
You'd be somewhere outside. There'd be no way you could. Fine. Yeah. You wouldn't be able to get a horse. It's too busy to walk a horse through the town, basically. But there'll be somewhere outside that's stabled up.
It's a fish.
Yeah, I'm going to leave. I'm deathly allergic to fish. So.
Oh.
All right, that's one character down. Okay.
I attack the guards.
That's one thing you notice, actually. There are actually town guards here, which isn't that common. What you would normally have is the state army. Like members of the state army will look after, so you'll actually generally have professional soldiers looking after towns. But here, it looks like there are guards in sort of quite makeshift uniforms, but there are some town guards here, which isn't a particularly common thing.
Right, who are we looking for?
You're basically here looking for work. You've
Sorry,
come here to.
are us four together?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm asking Mark what Mark
Right, sorry.
looking for.
So I'm going to be looking for a job board or speak to the local militia, see if they've got any outstanding warrants, anything that's outside the city walls that they don't want to be bothered with, and then try and catch them. Sound good to you boys?
Yeah, that sounds good. I'll follow around because I want to get a feel for the city and the people. Never been to a place this big before, so I just want to have a bit of a listen.
Might have trouble getting lodgings with this many people here.
Could do. Cool. So I'm going to approach the guard on the gates quite politely. Good morning.
Yeah, and he just sort of nods. He just sort of looks at you. Yeah, yeah. Can I help?
Do you have a militia outpost or a job board for any outstanding warrants looking for work?
He looks at you a bit, not sort of wary, but he's sort of. He gives you a funny look. Like, what sort of work? There's plenty of work on the docks over there. And he points over to people deheading fish and stuff.
Militia work from outside the gates, thief taking. That like.
Oh right. You got your papers on you? You would, yeah.
I feel I've got a license writ. So
Yeah. You're.
Fucking papers.
Yeah, you got your papers.
Fucking papers.
He looks. He goes, "Well, we tend to look after it ourselves here. I mean, you can speak to the captain of the town watch, but generally we look after it ourselves. We don't tend to hire outsiders here."
Surely,
Okay.
with many extra people, there's bound to be more work than what your normal numbers could handle.
Yeah.
Yeah, but we all want to make a good coin, don't we? And he might like he'll point you over to sort of like the way towards where the marketplace basically is where he'll point you towards. But he's not particularly willing to help you get do his job. Yeah. Yeah. So yeah, while you're doing that, Mark, Paul, did you say you want to kind of like ask around, like listen around a bit?
Yeah, I'm trying to get an ear for the local linguistics, basically, and how the city feels. So
Yeah.
I can blend in a bit more.
Yeah. Okay. So there is an accent here that is sort of quite specific to this town. It's not a really strong accent, but you will hear, you'll pick up on the kind of the terms they use. And the kind
I
of
know I will, because I'm a mimic.
Mimic. You turn into a chest. Paul, while you're doing it, make a gossip test at plus 30, because it's easy, plus 40, sorry.
So I plus 30 to the skill, and I have to roll under it. Is that correct?
That's correct, yeah.
Okay, so you said 30, yeah?
Yeah, so anyone else can do this as well if they want to. So if you want to spend some time asking around.
Happily.
Roll under 75.
So it's plus 40 for you, Paul. It's actually only plus 30 for anyone else because
Okay.
you're...
Well,
because you're...
2.
Okay, you smash it.
So, yeah.
But anyone else can ask around as well if you want to.
I get 11.
Okay.
Is 5 degrees of success. as
Oh
well.
yeah, so for every 10 you roll under, it is a degree of success, basically.
Okay,
So
that was
5.
then 7 degrees of success.
Okay, then I will read out everything. So it's really clear for everyone here that getting work on the ferries is really hard because so many people have come to town trying to find work. But a few people mentioned that you might find some work in the marketplace, but it's not guaranteed. Another thing you find out is that there's actually been no wagons leaving town for a couple of weeks, and everything's been going via the river, which is, again, a little bit unusual. Last week, they caught and hanged a thief who was trying to steal coin from the ferries. Since that, they've had the guards increased and doubled their pay around the ferries. And finally, there was a fight between the Belladonnas and a couple of drunk locals a couple of days ago. Everyone knows that the town watch turned a blind eye because of who the Belladonnas are. But a boy, no one will tell you actually. They just say the name as if you should know.
Okay.
But one of the Belladonnas and a boy called Darius was killed in the brawl.
Okay. I tell all of the boys all of these things.
So while that'll be enough. You know, that's probably an hour or so of going around and finding stuff out and bits like that. So how you go about now is up to you.
So we head towards the market. I suppose we're sort of in the market sort of area.
Yeah, I guess you kind of spend some time, unless you particularly want. I mean, there's crowds of people around the docks and stuff. So if you particularly, and there are people shouting for work while you're on the docks. So if you can try and look for work on the docks, you can go straight to the
That'd be good.
markets.
Maybe, yeah. It's, I'd be interested in checking out, I guess, the people touting for work.
Yeah, remember some of you are piss poor as well. So
Yeah. Don't really want to be beheading fish though.
No, I'll just go back to my usual of reading people's fortunes in bars if I need to.
Yeah.
I'd be interested to at least know, I guess, some of the things on offer.
Yeah. Okay. So the people that are shouting around, you see there's like several small crowds of people that are swarming around them. And there's 4 or 5 different people standing on crates. They look like sort of simple river folk waving kind of papers around. You can't quite make it out what they're shouting because of the noise, the crowds from where you are, and you can't quite see their papers. But you could try and get to the front of the crowd if you wanted to.
I'll certainly use my size to push my way forward.
Yeah, so you can do an athletics or an intimidate, a +0, I think. Actually, +10 on your intimidate because you're a higher class than these people.
Good point. Yes.
Move aside, peasants.
What class are other people?
So these are all brasses. Go on.
What class are we? Just so we know.
So you're all silver, apart from Paul, who's brass.
Yeah.
What did you get, Tom?
I got 30, so I got. You gave me a +10, was it?
+10, just because of
Yeah, 2 degrees of success.
Yeah. Okay. So you push your way to the front. As expected, it's generally quite menial work. It's lugging crates. It's throwing. It's deheading fish. It's lugging crates. It's generic stuff like that. There's probably enough work for about 6 hours if you wanted to. And they're offering quite good pay, actually. They're offering, 50. They're offering 20 brass pennies an hour, which is actually quite a lot. It's actually quite a lot. Because there's so much work to be done, they're actually offering quite a lot of money for it. So yeah, if you want to do that work, you can. Obviously, it's going to eat into your day a little bit, but it is quite a lot of work.
No, that's fine. I will not engage in dock work.
Yeah,
it's good to know that it is beneath us.
Yeah.
I feel like I might do a few hours in the evening when they're not looking.
Yeah. I mean, there's option to come back. Mark, you were speaking around to the guards and stuff, weren't you?
Yeah.
Roll a gossip test at +20.
Hold on, let me just get my dice up. So gossip is 32 +20. Was that?
Yeah, +20 on the stat or the skill. Sorry.
Fail.
Okay, so you don't really find it out. You sort of the work you're looking for. None of the guards have really mentioned anything. Oh, by the way, you do have fortune points, which is the same as your fate points. You can spend those in the game, and they come back at the next session to re-roll if you want to.
Oh, okay, in which case they come back in the session. So basically,
Yeah.
you've got a fortune 3. You've got 3 re-rolls per night.
Basically, yeah.
Cool. Yeah, I'll spend one on that.
What's my fortune? Sorry, I've just got nothing.
I've
got fate 4. Is it?
Yeah, fate is the same as fortune.
Yeah.
It's just fate is when you spend fate, it doesn't come back, but when you spend fortune, it does.
It's the same. Is that the same for resolve and resilience?
Yeah, exactly the same. Yeah.
Cool.
So I re-roll.
Yep.
Yes, passed by 2 degrees.
Okay, so Mark, as you're asking around, the guard that you asked about, sort of looking for work, some other guards, you sort of heard them round him, and they're muttering about how shit it is, basically, that any of the guard work or anything that seems to be kind of bodyguarding or like guarding towns and stuff like guarding shops stuff is overseen by the belladonnas.
Right, okay.
And then he mentions fucking Tillian's coming over here, basically taking our jobs.
Classic.
Yeah. Tilia, Paul, is Italy, basically.
Okay.
Warhammer, yeah.
Sorry, what was the name of Derek? What was the name of the person?
The people that oversee it are the Belladonnas.
Yeah, there was a name. Fucking Tillians, wasn't it? Yeah.
Yeah, they're Tillians. Yeah, so they're a Tillian gang. You basically see him say, "Fucking Tillians coming over here, taking our jobs," basically.
That's what the gang's doing.
Yeah. There's definitely no space in the town watch. They make that very clear.
Make some.
Yeah, and they just kind of mentioned that there's actually might be safer work around, but the safer work you've already worked out is probably deheading fish and lugging boxes. but it is well paid.
And behead fish for no one.
I don't unless it's a killer fish coming to get me.
I mean, that could be an exciting roleplay session of just beheading fish all evening.
That's it. If you said yes, I was going to make you sit here deheading fish for 6 hours. So I'm kind of glad you said no. Okay, so I mean, is there anything else you want to do around this dock area before you go into the market?
No, probably not. I think we've got the options there in the market, in the docks, I think.
Yeah, I think
it's worthwhile considering whether we should have like a business opportunity of being wagon guards if wagons are not leaving so often. Something weird about that.
There hasn't been any there's none have left for the past 2 weeks.
Yeah, well, maybe there's no guards. We should find out.
Could be. None of you got any trade skills, have you?
I don't think so.
Merchant skills or anything like that. I think there's a basic skill that might cover it.
Haggle is a basic skill.
Not really that. Actually, Joe, I might give you a rough idea. Do a hard haggle test. So haggle at -20, and everyone can do this. I think this is probably the closest to working it out.
Nope.
No. Even though I'm quite good at it, no.
Yeah.
No.
It's not quite the right skill. That's why I'm making it quite hard, because it's not quite the right. Yeah, so you don't know why no wagons have left, but all trade has been by river recently.
Right, my thoughts are these merchants, they must annoy each other. There must have been some sort of, they've all got loads of money. Look at the clothes they're wearing. They've got loads of money. There must be one of them that's pissed off another one. They'll have work for us. There's some beheading fish at least. It's surprised in a town like this, this busy, this much competition, someone didn't steal something.
Are you heading into the market?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. It's quite hard to push your way into the market or the market area because the amount of people that are going in and out, and sort of people with small carts and wagons and stuff. But when you get there, it's really bustling. You see a lot of traders around of all sorts. You can buy an axe. If you do want to buy anything, by the way, this is a good time to do it, maybe.
That would involve money.
Yeah, which you don't have, I don't think, do you?
No.
But if anyone does,
No.
if anyone does want to buy anything, there's like I think all the purchasing stuff is like about page 290 onwards. If you want to have a look at stuff, so if you do want to get anything, we can work it in basically. I'm not going to make you roleplay going around fucking finding stuff. Like if you want to buy it, then buy it.
I don't know how much money I've got.
You should have D10 silver.
Oh no, I rolled 1. Yeah, that was it.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Last silver.
Yeah.
Rich.
I feel that's still more than me, though.
Yeah, you're still far better off than Paul.
How much is a silver worth? What's the value on that?
So a silver is 12 brass. Yeah, it's worth that silver. So it's 12 brass to a silver and 20 silver to a gold.
Yeah, that is more than
Fucking loads, basically.
Fucking loads. It's actually not that much money when you look at the cost of living and stuff, but with money, unless it's what I think I'm going to do is unless it's like really narratively important, the costs of living for the day and feeding yourself for the day, it'll probably just be like narrative money. It's off there somewhere.
I want to keep track of it, and I want to do encumbrance as well.
Yeah.
It's one of the few things I liked about Shadowrun rules, because there was just lifestyle, and you just put that much money into your lifestyle, it was done.
Oh, that's cool.
I think in this you spend whatever your tier is per day or something, but I'm not particularly interested in that side of it.
So we're like down to our last 20 quids then.
Yeah, you guys are pretty. Yeah, what another thing as well in the game, you always start the next adventure down to your last 20 quid. So you always start poor because there's stuff you can do at the end of your adventure to like put your money in banks and stuff and like stash it and stuff like that. So you always start. There's always a reason to go adventuring.
We pirates carrying it in the forest.
Yeah, because you're always fucking poor basically, like because you always go like, but like you can use it to do stuff in your downtime. So like you can set up your company or hire people, stuff like that. But yeah, you always start off with your starting money basically because you've spent it on stuff, which I quite like.
Let's set up a used art
We
business.
decide on group goals.
Yeah, that's something we should do actually.
Mention them.
Let's do you know what? Because you've only just sort of come together. Hello. That can develop in game. I think we haven't got to set it as a thing now. What's good to have though is your little character goals, like what you want to achieve, saying briefly now, and then like a long-term thing. But we can work on that in a bit.
Mm-hmm.
So the market, yeah. As I said, there's loads of people around. It's quite busy. There are several calls for work around, but it seems to mostly be lifting and carrying stuff to and from carts to the ferries. Again, there doesn't actually seem to be any like caravan wagons going around, which I guess is fairly unusual. But if you want to have a look around to see if you can find any particular work, or you want to speak to anyone in particular, like all the some of the stalls here have guards, like town guards with them, or people that are clearly hired thugs around, which is not massively common for a town, but maybe because there's so many people here, it is. You know, it's not out of place, but it's not, you know, it's not weirdly out of place. Okay.
Cool. So is it mainly sort of fish trade and stuff like that?
Yeah, largely. I mean, again, there just seems to be quite a lot of people doing the lugging and stuff like that, and you can spend some time looking around for stuff if you want to. If you want to do a quick gossip test, I guess, plus 20. See if you can.
And I'm going to start practicing, like speaking like I'm a local with a local accent and stuff. To try and get more.
All right. Yes, in fact.
I had 3 degrees of success.
Okay. So again, Paul, asking around and stuff, it's very clear that there really is, the work that is out there at the moment is lugging crates, deheading fish, carrying stuff between markets. You don't hear about the belladonnas this time. People, you know, if you kind of push anyone on it, it feels a little bit, and they're not really willing to talk about it. Okay. But that seems to be what it is. However, after you spend some time looking around the market, you do see a guy, a small, reedy man, who is waving a small piece of paper, and he can barely be seen above the crowd.
Over to him then.
People see.
Anyone read?
Yep.
Yes.
And the reason he actually makes eye contact with, I'm going to roll randomly, Ads. So Ads, as you're looking around, this tiny little reedy man, he's in his late 50s, roughly. He's got a bulbous red nose. He's dressed in simple clothes with a floppy brown hat. And I will share a little picture of him for you.
Is he fit?
He's quite fit, yeah, if you like older men, yeah.
I do.
I don't think he is, actually. He's not at all. Hey, should you be able to see my screen?
Yeah.
No, yeah.
He hasn't got his hat on in this one, but there you go.
Trustworthy then. Yeah, good stock.
Yeah, good stock. You notice that like a few people go over to him, and he gives them a sort of a once over and like hurries them away, or like wagons away. But then you can hear him shouting, "Wagon guards needed! Wagon guards!" Anybody? Wagons needed, paying well.
How do wagon guard? See, I've got the second sight.
Yeah, this is good.
Right.
He seems pretty overwhelmed, but he spots you, Ads.
I'm quite tall. I'm like 6'1" or something.
Yeah, you're like you're big, and you're clearly some sort of fighty soldier. So he makes eye contact with you, and he waves you over. And yeah, he basically calls you, and someone sort of tries to speak to him, and he looks at them and sort of pushes them. Clearly, a local tries to speak to him, pushes them away. No, like waves you over because you look like hard, basically.
Give me your money, you little shit.
No, you little shit.
Oh,
Right, okay.
and he looks. Are you all going over?
Yes.
Okay. So he looks to Ads. He looks up at Paul, who's okay. Yeah. And he looks at Tom, who looks even bigger, and Mark. He's and he folds his paper up. He looks quite sort of frustrated. But he said, "Oh yes, are you looking for work?"
Yes.
Yes, we are.
Wait, and where are you all from?
I come from up in the west of Warwickland.
Oh, good. Oh, because I'm not.
Come down looking for work. I hear this is a good place to find employment.
Yeah.
Character sheets. I can't tell you.
Somewhere. Okay, somewhere. He looks at you all. Paul, how are you speaking to him?
I'm not yet, because I'm trying to get a good whether he wants a local or not, and then I will shift my accent appropriately.
Yeah.
Right, fresh.
Yeah. So he goes, oh yeah, you can't trust the locals, really. They'll sell your mother for a full brass.
Absolutely agree. I say in a different accent.
Yep. Good. And he's, but it's they're just quite white. And he sort of he struggles a little bit. He's looking you up and down. Yes, I suppose you'll do. And yes, my Master Werner did say as long as it's no one from the town. So, okay. Yes. So, I mean, I'd like to come and meet Master Werner if you're free now, of course. But I understand if you have other things to do.
I think we can. I look around. Yeah, I think we can fit him in before our business.
I mean, nothing's free.
Oh no, of course, no, Master Werner will pay you very handsomely. I assure you, he's a very well-to-do man. He's very well off. It's certainly the best paid work you're going to find here in Kemperbad, and unless you do particularly want to spend your days lugging crates and deheading fish.
Well, we were just passing through, but we'll hear him out, see what he has to offer.
Splendid, and he holds out a kind of little liver-spotted hand, and he shakes all your hands. He's not particularly strong. And he introduces himself as Gerard. I'm Gerard Voigt. You can shake his hand if you wish. You don't have to, but he's quite polite. He's clearly being very polite.
I'll shake his hand. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, what did you say his name was?
Gerard Voigt. Voight. Before I do take you, what do you all do? You kind of look to. I just need to make sure that you're the right guy. I don't want to wait Master's time. He's not slept very well, and he's a little irritated.
I'm a rider and, well, I suppose some form of militiaman.
Oh, it's splendid. Oh, absolutely splendid. And he see as you're wearing like a sort of
like leather breastplate. I've got
yeah.
Hip.
Yeah, he just sort of like pats you on the shoulder, or he sort of grabs your shoulder. Oh, yeah. I can see you. Not in that way, but I can see you're a fighter. Okay, good. You'll be of good use. He sort of looks Paul up and down. He's like, are you a merchant of some sort?
I keep them all together and look after them so they can carry on fighting.
Doesn't question it too much. You look sort of weird enough that it's. Yeah, and you certainly sort of sees your rope and. So,
I bring people to Reichland's justice.
Oh, splendid! Oh, well, my master is a very law-abiding man, and he'll appreciate a man of your standing. So that will certainly come in. So, my master lives a little away on the docks. Here's his address. he passes you the address basically. That's
Oh.
down near the docks.
Take that away from him.
Pardon?
I'll take that out of his hand.
Yeah, he doesn't. He sort of jumps back a little bit, but he's not. He's taken aback because you're quite intimidating. He's like, if you could come there within the next hour, that would be fantastic.
And to tell the guard on the gate that you sent us.
Oh, it's just a house. There's no it's not gated. It's just a house. Just come and knock. I'll answer the door. I'll be there. I'll just prepare the way for you. But yes, fantastic. And he sort of starts like mopping. He's quite sweaty. He's mopping his brow. Oh, Master Werner will be pleased. He's this will raise his spirits. Thanks, Sigmar. He makes a sign of the comet across his chest, and then he kind of scurries off to his. Well, he goes off in the way where the address is. So you could either follow him straight away, or you can do stuff for yourselves first.
Well, I didn't say what the work was, but he seemed quite happy with us.
He didn't say what Master Werner does either, to be fair.
Well, I'm sure he mentioned something about wagon guard, so I think we're pretty standard job.
And I did predict that.
Well, seems like it could be easy work. I'm all for it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Seems like it will.
It's
Roll a perception check, everyone. Just a standard check.
check your perceptions.
Um,
Putting in there.
Oh,
by 2, but not by any. So is that 1 degree?
What's your score? Sorry.
So I got 36, and my score is 38.
So you get 1. Yeah, 1 success.
Okay.
Yeah.
I have 5 degrees of failure.
Okay. Well, this was an opposed roll actually. So while you're chatting to that chap, you see someone in the crowd just kind of having an eye on you. Like they're clearly taking an interest in what's going on where you are.
I keep my cool.
Because none of you rolled particularly well, you just kind of catch him as they even are slipping off basically, but you notice they've been paying quite a bit of attention to you. It's clearly a local, and one of you who rolled the best score? Who got the?
So was it a perception check at +20? Was it?
Just standard perception at 0.
Yeah, failed them.
Yeah.
So I think
Paul, yeah. Okay. So Paul, you actually make eye contact with them, and that's what flags it up that they're clearly looking at your group. But because it's so busy, they just they do as when they realise they've been spotted, they just kind of tail off.
Okay. We will watch during that as well. You should know.
Where did they go?
Oh, they've already headed off in the crowd. It was just a local, but they were paying a lot of attention to us. I don't know if it was us or to Warty Nose.
Well, he was telling a lot of folks away for this, I think. So might be one of the folks he's upset earlier. I don't know.
Can I push my way out into the crowd in the direction that Paul gestured? Going to try and see if I can see this person.
Yeah, make a athletics check to get through, and then a hard. I mean, Paul hasn't described him, so
it's fine because I've just rolled a 97.
Okay, so you try and push your way through, but at that exact time, like in the field where like a car, like a sheet of glass comes across the thing. At that exact time, someone just wheels out a barrel of melons, which is quite unusual from
melons. Yes,
they're from Tilia. Yeah, they wheel it out, and you knock a couple to the floor because 97 is a critical.
Yeah,
and they're like, this guy looks outraged. That's 10 pfennigs worth of melons I've just dropped on the floor there.
My melons.
He's a local, but
would you like me to pick them up for you?
I can't sell them now, can I?
Can I make an intimidation check?
Yeah,
I'm going to pick one up, wipe off the dirt.
Yep.
Into his hand.
Yep, you absolutely can. It's opposed against his call.
Crush it with your bare hand.
Right.
Oh, I do 78. Oh, crap.
Okay, and he rolled.
A couple of degrees of failure.
He rolled 2. Actually, so he's not having any of your out of town shit. He's like, "You've just ruined these. You need to pay for these. That is 10 pfennigs."
Is that a lot of money?
It's quite a lot for 2 melons.
That is a lot for melons. That is not 10 pfennigs worth of melons.
And he bangs the side of the car. He goes, "Look, the wheel's buckled." And it
Right,
is.
That wasn't us. That was you. Don't even start that on us. We're prepared to pay a decent amount for the melons, but you have to take some culpability, and that cart was not us.
And he goes, "Right, 5 pfennigs for my trouble then."
I will throw him the coin.
Yep, he takes his...
Yeah, I'll throw it at him.
Yeah, he sort of... Actually, a few people try and like go to have it, and he sort of scrabbles it up quickly, leaves the melons where they are, and then just sort of scurries off.
I'll pick up some melon and
breakfast is sorted.
Yeah. You can dine on some melons. Like some beggars try and pick up it, but you manage to get.
I give a bit to the beggar as well.
Oh, nice. Okay, lovely. That's nice. And they look up. Oh, thank you, sir. Oh, thank you, sir. Thank you. Eats his melon. Tom knocks the melons off the cart. Not them melons, no. Okay, so that's happening. The town guard don't really. There's one nearby. Doesn't seem to give a shit. Like he's clearly not that bothered about what's going on. And it's happy to let it play out amongst itself. And then the little guy takes his cart off.
And you see him bump into someone else and drops it.
You see him bump into someone else. He's got 2 on like a cord, but they just pulls them back.
Placing, yes.
The rest of them aren't real.
You get the idea
together in one giant pile.
You do get the feeling, Tom, that it was a fortuitous time for him to come around that corner.
Yes.
Okay, what are you guys doing?
Well, after that, and after you've had some melon, probably getting on to about half hour since you spoke to the guy.
Yeah, I think after the kind of the beer and the chat, something to eat and stuff. So yeah, it probably makes sense.
Yeah, probably go and find this address then.
Yeah, unless there's anything you want to go, like say if you want to buy anything, you can pick that up later on. Okay, let's go to Werner Voigt's house. Boop, boop, boopity boop. Use some travel music. Oh, good, is my next picture. Okay, so you make your way to his house. There's some nicer that you got the kind of the river / dock areas, and then just sort of set back a little bit from that. It probably takes you about half an hour to get there. It's quite a big town. But when you get there, you see there's some nicer houses. They're not completely over the top. They're not the nicest houses in town, but they're definitely worth a bit more money. The wooden beams look very solid. The thatch roofs are well kept. There's a small garden outside, which is almost unheard of. There's, they might even have a glass window, which is quite unusual. So it's actually quite a nice looking house. You can see it's 2-story house. It's of fair size. You would expect it, if this was a peasant's house, you would expect it to probably house 8 or 10 people. Obviously it's presumably a merchant's house, so it's probably not going to have that many people in it, but it's of fair size. All of the windows that you can see in, there's nice curtains closed over them, so you can't actually see into the house itself. But the pathway that leads up to the doorway is quite well kept. So it's actually quite a nice house. There's several others kind of within short walks from here, and they're all fairly similar. So this is clearly an area of town that's fairly well off. You kick his house down?
Yeah.
I'll bring the oil.
Post the melon rind through the letterbox.
Yeah. So do you slice the melon first, or push it straight through? Okay, so You just smash it through the letterbox. There's no letterbox, mate. It's a 10 house, isn't it? There's an outside letterbox.
There's a melon-shaped letterbox now.
There's a melon. You just smash it through the letterbox. Okay, are you going to strap the door, or are you doing something else?
Knock on the door.
Yeah, just knock on the door. I don't think one character I'm remotely suspicious because everything's new and shiny for me.
Yeah,
I don't rely on my sixth sense for that.
Roll your perception. In fact, I'll roll your perception because sixth sense is a secret one.
Yeah.
Sense is a talent, yeah.
You do not feel any. You feel like this is probably quite safe. I think, like you said, you were quite overwhelmed with what's here, but you don't get a feeling that this is a particularly bad. Anything bad's going to happen to you here.
Okay.
Yeah, the sixth sense one specifically says, I think, like the GM rolls because it's a.
Yeah, it's quite cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, but yeah, GM rolls here.
Okay, so as you knock on the door, you hear some scrabbling from inside. You hear the voice of Gerard. One moment. And he opens the door. The first thing that hits you is looking inside the house. So you can just see past Gerard. It doesn't look like it should do inside. It's quite. You can just sort of see quite a bit of mess inside from where you are.
Okay.
And he's like, oh yes, sir, come in. And as he kind of pushes the door back, make a perception check. Plus 20. Everyone.
Everybody.
Oh,
Everybody.
nice. 5 degrees of success.
Okay, so as he pushes the door back, you hear like some what sounds like porcelain or china getting kind of like scraped by the back of the door as it opens. And he goes, "Oh, come in, sirs, come in."
As he's guiding in, I'll have a look at what the scraping noise it was.
Well, it's behind the door. As he opens the door, it's
Okay.
swept the door. Yeah, at the moment, anyway. And he invites you in.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, as you get in, it is not what you would expect. What did everyone get on their test, by the way?
I got 17, so I got 1 degree of success.
Okay. Anyone else get anything?
I failed it.
You failed it. Okay. Ad, you don't really hit. Ad, you notice that it's messy, but it does. You're probably quite used to mess, so it's fine.
The hoarder.
He's a hoarder. Yeah. So anyone who passed by 1 degree, you can hear the sound of a young baby crying, or a sound of a baby crying upstairs. Paul, you passed quite well, didn't you?
5 degrees of success.
Yes. It sounds like the baby might be quite poorly, maybe like it's got a cold or something like that. Its cry doesn't sound quite right. You can also see there are plates of rotten food left around the house. So you can see there's some still on the table. From the door, you can see through to the sort of what is one of the dining rooms, or the dining room even. You can see there's food left there. There's actually a plate of food on the floor by the door. That was probably what got pushed when the door opened. It looks like half a bit of sandwich left there or something. All of you can smell it. It smells in here. Like it doesn't smell particularly nice in here. And also, Paul, you saw on the other side there is a smashed statue at the foot of the stairs. It's only small. It's only like probably 4 or 5 inches tall. You probably wouldn't notice it in the mess if you hadn't got so well in your perception. But it is a smashed statue of Shalia. Shalia is the goddess of healing and easing pain.
Okay.
And that is clearly just, it looks like it's fallen off a shelf or something, maybe. There's a shelf above it. It looks like it could have fallen from there, but it is at the bottom of the stairs smashed.
Okay.
I think, yeah, that's it. Because if you just wait here for 1 moment, and I'll go and fetch Master Marius. 1 moment, he says. He sort of scurries away upstairs.
Whilst he does that, I'm just going to have sort of a look around surrounding and see if I can guess what this guy's business is or anything like that. I've got read write, so any like documents on the table.
Yeah, there is a document. Actually, there's a on near to the wall, near to where you come in. There's actually a crate there. There's a crate near the door. as you come in. On top of it, it's got wares. It's stamped with Werner's what would he be? Tailor. Yeah, Werner's tailoring. So there's the stamp on top of the crate says that basically.
Oh,
So you would assume he's a tailor.
that makes sense.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. I would have assumed a healer from that statue, but okay.
Yeah. So unless you want to do anything in the next couple of you've got a couple of minutes, that you hear them upstairs scrabbling around basically.
Not particularly. I just
Yeah.
casually look around. Yeah.
Yeah, just have a gentle nose around.
Yeah, like I said, there's a crate by the door. That's it. Paul, as you just have a quick look through what you can see from where you are, is that there's, it looks like the place hasn't been tidied for a while. You're not used to living in a house, so you don't really know how, or like a house like this, so you don't really know how long for. But it certainly looks like it's not what you would expect from someone of this status.
I thought rich people kept their houses clean and their babies didn't have colic. What's this all about?
Was it basically a big thing of like the outside looks very nice and well-to-do, inside it's not as great?
Yeah, it doesn't look like it's it's not smashed up and stuff inside. It just looks like it hasn't been looked after for a while.
Cool. But like, has the front been looked after? Is the garden looked after?
The garden's a little bit overgrown.
Okay.
Yeah, the garden's a little bit overgrown. It's not
just a little bit.
Yeah, it looks like it hasn't been looked after for a few weeks at least.
Cool.
Okay, so after a couple of minutes, you see a man start coming down the stairs. I'll show you a picture of him. Oh, Az's gone for his thing. Az's gone for his thing, hasn't he? There we go. Here we go.
Okay.
Cool.
Oh, okay.
So that's it. That's what he looks like.
I like a beard.
He's got a nice, I thought he got a nice beard. How do I stop sharing my screen? Yeah. So he comes down the stairs. He looks very tired. He's got massive bags under his eye. His beard doesn't look that tidy. It's quite dishevelled. It's not difficult for you to see that he hasn't slept very much of late. He's quite judged by the size of his house. He's actually pretty well off. But by looking at him, he's actually dressed down quite a lot.
Okay.
Who has Reichland law?
Yep, I do.
I do.
Roll it at +20.
Is law based on intelligence?
Law is intelligence, yes.
I get 2 degrees of success.
Okay.
So do I.
Okay. So as long as you get 1, you know that actually it's quite unusual for Kemperbad merchants to dress down. In particular, Kemperbad merchants are well known for dressing over the top, like to display their wealth, basically. And all of you can see that his left hand is bandaged. He has a small bandage on his left hand. He does try to hide it, but you spot it before he comes out. And she goes, thank Shelley that you're here. Gerard, these are the men, I assume. And Gerard looks at you.
So I identify as a non-bite. No.
Gerard's like, yes, I get it. Good. He looks tired. The baby has actually stopped crying now. He came down as it stopped crying. And he's like, you've seen how busy it is in the town, haven't you?
Yeah.
I have to get out for a few months. This is just driving me insane. The amount of new people coming to town and all the new business has just meant that crime has gone through the roof, and I just need a safe place for me and my child. There was 2 murders just 2 days ago. I can't bring my child up here. And I assume that you look like well-to-do men. It's a very simple job. I'm not implying that you're simple men, of course, but I just need you to help me and some of my wares. He gestures to the crate. that you just saw, Mark. Look, there's 4 others as well, and we're going just head to a nearby town of Arswold. I've secured my lodgings there, but we all know the roads in Reichland aren't particularly safe, even if young Carl Franz swears they will be.
How far away is this town?
It's about a 2-day ride by coach.
You have a wagon, I suppose?
Yes, I've managed to secure one of the wagons at no small cost, which will be leaving in, it's Marktag today, so it'll be leaving on Freitag. We'll be leaving early, hopefully. There's good money in it for you, of course. There's 10 silver shillings each. Sadly, there's no river, otherwise I would have gone the much safer way. But yes, I since Greta passed, I just want to get out of this house.
Greta was your wife?
He nods. So, yes, she was. Yes.
How old's the baby?
The child is just 7 months. It's still in carriage, but my wife was a soldier, and she marched to Ostmark soon after he was born, and he looks quite sad. I recently received a missive that she'd been slain by orcs in the north, the east. Sorry. He doesn't make the mistake. I made the mistake. Yeah, she's slain by orcs in the east, and I just want to get away from it for a bit.
Well, make sure you sleep well in Moore's garden.
He nods. Yes, she does sleep in the garden.
So leaving in 2 days' time?
Yes, we'll leave about midday on Friday. I've arranged for the wagon to go there.
As I understood it, no wagons have left several weeks. How have you managed to get passage out?
I have a fair amount of coin, and there was a wagon here of one of the coachmen had been sick, and I managed to pay them handsomely. He suddenly became well. I think they're living fat off their other work in the town. There's been no real need for them to leave, and certainly the river merchants have been sucking up all of the trade.
Oh, I see.
Is Gerard still in the room?
Gerard's scurried off. He's off doing some tidying.
Have you been looking for guards long?
Gerard's been looking for a couple of days. We've not had much luck. There seems to be better pay. People don't want to be paid for dangerous work when they can make lots of money, with the most danger being deheading a fish or carrying a box.
I just sort of look around the group and say, do you think it's a sort of job we find agreeable?
I just slightly nod.
Okay.
Because,
but
15,
I think
is more than I'd ever seen.
I think the pay is slightly low. I think, considering the current climate, I think for a job, how many? About 2 days ride, did you say?
Around that with a toll, yes.
I would say 30 silver a head.
He looks at you. Make a haggle roll.
Yep.
I was about to join in there.
Get a +10 on it though. I'm rolling against his call.
I failed, so I'm going to use a point, which passed by 2. So I rolled 22, which is will you say +10?
Yeah, so your stat is +10 basically.
Yep, so passed by 2 factors, I used another fortune point. Okay,
so you passed by 3. Is that right?
No, passed by 2, including the +10.
Ah, right, okay. Okay, yeah, so that's an awful lot of money, sir. You must appreciate. I can go to 20 at most. I'll find people for work.
I do appreciate that you have been looking for several days. You have said that you are very well off, and to be honest, if you are looking for people for danger money, you want people that look more than just dangerous. If the money's not right, look intimidating. But if you want to put my blood on the line, you want to be paying well.
Especially, like you said, the fact that there's so easy work. 10 brass things an hour for The worst thing might be a cut on the finger.
Sirs, please, I can go 23 is my final offer.
I'll meet you at 25.
And as you say that, the baby starts crying again, or you hear it sort of muster. He goes, "Yes, fine, whatever. 25 is fine."
Good. Thank you.
And he shakes your hands. He goes to shake with his left hand, actually, which is the bandaged one.
Okay.
But he pulls it and then he shakes with his right hand. He said, "Yes, so yes, thank you."
Is the injury going to slow us down at all? I'll gesture to his hand. It's just.
Oh, this. No. I cut myself while working. I certainly won't be driving the car at all. This was just a small cut. Make an intuition test, Mark. Or anyone. In fact, standard test at +0.
Standard test. So I've got under 39.
2 degrees of success.
He's clearly lying about something. With that as well, Paul, actually, sorry. When he mentioned about his wife, he was clearly something about that wasn't quite right either.
Yeah, I thought that was about that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so he's like, as you sort of make the agreement, Gerard, sir, I couldn't help but overhear that is quite a lot of money, sir. Are you sure you can afford it? Why don't you just take the young one to Diesdorf instead? It's barely a day upriver, and it's far safer than the road to Owlswood. Are you sure? Before he can sort of finish his next sentence, Marius responds with a very frustrated that I've told you already, I don't want to go to Diesdorf, and if you suggest it again, then you're fired. I won't be here of it again.
Does it seem like this guy is like at his wit's end?
He's clearly not slept properly in a couple of days. He's got a crying baby. He's injured. He's not in a good way. I mean, you can see the state of his house. He's very frustrated about something. He's at his fucking wit's end completely. He's very sharp. You know, he's quite sharp with you. He's even more sharp with this servant guy. You've all got Lord Reichland, haven't you?
Yep.
All roll at +30, please.
3 degrees of success for me.
Okay.
And what was the name of the town?
Diesdorf. Diesdorf.
2 degrees.
That's where we're going, yeah.
Okay. No, so Diesdorf is the town that Gerard has just suggested, but Auerswald, Auerswald, Auerswald.
Sorry, could you just repeat that spelling again?
Yeah, Auer.
Yep.
SWALD. Sorry, they're all ones from the map, so they're all you'll see them all on the map as well if you want to get them there. Yeah, anyone who passed, you know that Diesdorf is closer. It is also a centre for pilgrimage for Sigmar worship across the Empire. There's been a lot more pilgrims going there recently as well. And there are a lot more shrines to Sigmar than is usual for a town of that size.
Okay.
Did anyone get 3 degrees or more?
Tom did, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, I got 3.
So you also know that it was actually where Magnus the Pious gave one of his most rousing speeches 200 years ago, which was when they first got one of the biggest defeats against Chaos, basically. That's why it's a place of such importance to the Empire.
Okay, so yeah, I vaguely know the area, I think, from the rough bits I noted down in my background, so...
Yeah, cool.
Is it a river? Is it a road? It's a road, isn't it? I can see. Yeah, cool.
Yeah, so but it is closer. And he's like, yeah, so and Gerard kind of scurries off and don't think. So if there's anything else, if you have any other business to discuss, we've arranged payment. is there any? I assume you have everything you'll need. That's why I'm hiring you. But Gerard can probably sort you out with anything if you speak to him. If there's anything you particularly need. And the baby's properly starting to bawl now.
Have you just made sure that you've got enough food and stuff for everybody that's coming?
Gerard will be arranging that. Don't worry.
Oh, sorry, I was aiming that Gerard. Sorry.
Oh, yes, sorry. Gerard's like, yes, of course, sir. He sort of seems quite offended that he wouldn't have organised the right amount of food. And Marius,
well, no, I was gently hinting for us as well.
Oh yeah, he makes quite clear.
Okay.
Of course, and Marius is like, Mr. Marius Werner's like, I'm afraid I must go and see to my.
See you at dawn on Friday.
Yeah. So he
And when we're travelling, remember I'm good with babies if you need a hand.
It's midday on Friday.
Oh, midday on Friday.
Yeah. And as that offer, he nods to you, Paul. He says, "Thank you, but I can look after my son."
I'm not suggesting you can't.
And he goes back upstairs. And Gerard's just there. Thank you, sirs. I appreciate. Thank you. The master has been so fraught of late. And he sort of, is there anything else I can help you with? Is there anything you'll need?
This is fine by me.
Is this Gerard now?
This is Gerard. Yeah, Marius has gone. He's gone up to the upstairs. Basically, the baby started crying again. So,
where's good to stay for 2 days?
You'll struggle to find somewhere. Normally, I would say to stay here, sirs, but obviously, as you can imagine, with the young master's son at the moment, it's not the best place to stay. There is a place in town, and he sort of struggles to find the name. No, that one's too busy. Maybe the Docker's Fist. But other than that, I'm afraid I can't help very much. It's quite expensive, but you get what you pay for, I believe.
Worth to live by. Docker's Fist on the docks, I'm guessing.
No, actually, it's slightly off. I've never been there, so I don't know the name. He sort of tells you what it's actually just off the sort of Merchants Plaza, off the Merchants Quarter, you haven't been to yet. So you've been to the market, not the actual proper Merchants Quarter.
Okay.
And he looks around. He's like, I'm so glad that's been sorted. And he grabs a little dustpan and brush from nearby. He goes, now, if you please, I must clear this mess up. See you on whatever Friday's called. Friday.
See you on Fridgewar.
Fridgewar. I'll see you on Fridgewar.
Fridgewar.
And he's thank you, sir. Thank you. Oh, Shelley bless you. And he sort of.
Shelley bless the child as well.
I hope so, sirs. I hope so. And he sort of gently doesn't sweep you out the door with the broom, but he sort of sweeps you out the door with the broom. And you can, as you hear the door close behind you, you can still see the babies crying. It's and then the door closes. Chunk.